few teas have gone. Raspberry leaf tea looks like a few missing. White birch bark looks like a few missing. Trap skunks, woodchucks, raccoons, or porcupines. Use sweet and salty. Yes, that was the best day yet. $162. Hey buddy, you awake? So my buyer's cutting these into cookies, little thin slices. Here we go. Well, welcome to the Beaver Retriever channel, where I bring you along showing you my lifestyle. And I got a pumpkin stand I'm trying to run right now. I grew a bunch of pumpkins this year. So let's check the money box and see how much money we made yesterday. We got a little bit. So in previous years, it's like 2 to 3 weeks before Halloween is when I sell most of my pumpkins. So I think we're doing pretty good, figuring we're still in September. We're a month out from freaking Halloween. 20, 40, 50, $73. So that's 73 more dollars than I had a minute ago. This is all going towards a trip to Alaska. So every bit that I make here, all getting spent on heading to Alaska, running a trap line in Alaska for one. Yeah, so we sold a few pumpkins. There's a few slots missing. You can see all the spots where they've taken pumpkins every day. I try to fill all that in so I can tell how many have gone in a day. Got a bunch of teas up here. Looks like a few teas have gone. Like raspberry leaf tea looks like a few missing. White birch bark looks like a few missing. Chaga maybe. Only one syrup missing. Yeah, I got a bunch of birch bark squares. A bunch of poles too. It doesn't look like anybody's buying the poles either. I think I might drop the price on the poles. Not today, but the next few days. I think I might go down to $5 for all of these poles. $5 each. So, alright. So now we're going to refill up the pumpkins and we're going to go check the skunk trap. Yeah, so this week I'm not going to stock it up every day. What's here today, I'll leave here until Thursday. Friday, I'll restock it. Because it seems like if I keep restocking it, everybody picks the better pumpkins. And eventually, I don't have to restock it because it's all shitty pumpkins that they left. So, if I don't give them as much of a choice, maybe they'll pick up some of these crappier ones. So I've already harvested 254 pumpkins so far. It's not what I've sold. I've probably sold 100 maybe. I've probably sold about 100 pumpkins so far. Alright, so I'm working on a skunk job here. Caught one skunk last week, and then I had one, I missed one yesterday. There's a rock that fell down in front of the door, and today is nothing. Both traps are still set. Looks like the bait's all gone though. Yeah, how the hell did he make it in and out of that without triggering it? So I'm gonna go grab my bait and rebait them. So if you ever have to trap skunks, woodchucks, raccoons, or porcupines, use sweet and salty granola bars. Nature Valley sweet and salty granola bars works every time, and you don't catch cats. Well, you might catch a cat, but I've never caught a cat. They're not after this stuff. Like if you use cat food, you're gonna catch cats. So we're gonna try to make sure these triggers are like right on hair trigger, so this doesn't happen again. Hopefully tonight we'll catch them. Tomorrow, hopefully we'll have a skunk. Alright, so if you've been following me along, you see that I've been doing a frame swap on my truck. So here's the old frame we got out yesterday. And now we're about to take the motor out and get everything all ready to put in a newer, better frame. So we're going to use the old farm awl and pull the motor out. Alright, we're down to the pumpkin stand, so looks like we sold a few pumpkins yesterday. There's a few slots missing through there. So let's see how much we made yesterday. Oh, there's a little bit of money in there. Alright, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120, $162. Yeah, so that was the best day yet. $162. Nice. So looks like some of my bigger pumpkins sold. There's quite a few slots missing, so what we're going to do is just kind of group these all back together and let them just pick from them this week. So we're just going to take pumpkins like this one and put them back up in there inside here. Alright, we got them all regrouped up, so now we're going to go check that skunk trap. So it's only down to the other end of my road is where that skunk job is, so I'll hop on the four-wheeler and hopefully today's the day we get to catch that other skunk. Let's see what we got. Nothing. I don't know what's going on with this freaking skunk. It's playing hard to catch. Full traps still set. I think he ate all the bait except for what was behind the trigger is what it looks like. Freaking A. Skunk's playing hard to catch. Eventually we'll catch him. Yeah, so we're working on that frame again today. And I'm trying to swap over all the front end parts, the A-arm and everything. So this one's all ready to come off. I just gotta take that one bolt off, an upper and lower A-arm. I already took the shock off. All that should come right off. And then I'm gonna do the other side. Then I do that same thing to that truck and take them ones and put onto this truck. So my truck had a lift with the shock. So really I only have to change the shock, but I had nice aluminum upper A-arms on this truck, on my truck. And this good frame here had shitty old rusty stock A-arms on there that I don't like. I even had one of them going bad on me back in the day. I'd change out a whole A-arm. So I like them aluminum ones way better. So, and they're air shocks, I can put air right to them and stuff. So we're gonna put them back on this truck. Yeah. Whoa. There, this frame is just about down to a bare frame. There's a fuel tank and some brake lines on there. Other than that, that's a bare frame. So now we start the process. I'm going to start taking them front tires off and get them over here, and then tomorrow my father will come out. He's going to help me put them on and probably do the rear end tomorrow, and I might do some other odds and ends today. Now we're down checking them skunk traps again, and they're still set again. Maybe rebait it some more. I'm gonna put like half a bar each right in the back of them things. Since I missed that skunk, I don't think he's willing to go past that trigger. So we'll have to give it a few more days. This sucks. Sucks when you miss a critter. It makes him so freaking hard to catch. They're wise and weary. Eventually his stomach will take over and he'll go fast over the trigger. We're back working on the frame again today, and we got one side off. Yeah, so the lower A-arms are not coming off of this truck very easily, and they came off of that truck very easily. So instead I'm just going to use the original lower A-arms. The lift that was in this truck was just in the shock. So that's all we're taking for parts off of that one. We're not taking the fuel tank out of it. This one still had a good fuel tank in it. So now we got to repeat the whole process. Start putting everything on that frame. Alright, we're done checking my skunk trap, and I got the last skunk finally. It's funny, I think the skunk's sleeping. Let's check this out. I think he's sleeping. Hey buddy, you awake? So we're just gonna drape this sheet over it best I can. Turn him right out of here. Yeah, so we finally caught the hard to catch skunk. I'd already caught him once, but he got back out the door. So just took a couple more days and we got him. So now we're just gonna pull my other trap and I'll go dispatch that skunk and we'll process him later. Yeah, we got the front end all in there. So let's button up a few minor things and then we can drop the motor in there. So I don't know if we get the motor in today, but we're trying to. And then I get a birch pole that I gotta go cut. So I'll kind of mix that in with all of this. over it and call it a day. Yeah, so that's as far as I'm going to get today. So today we got the front end, the rest of the front end all in. We got the motor, transmission, and transfer case in. And got the rear end at least underneath there. I still got to fuck with it and get a bolt in. So, well, yeah, we're headed in the right direction. But I also got a birch pole order today. So tomorrow morning I think I'm going to cut birch poles and try to hammer out an order. And then I'll come back to my truck. Yeah, so today we're working on a birch pole order. I sell these birch poles. Yeah, so my buyer's looking for 300 to 400 linear feet. So I'm going to cut a bunch of 8-footers. That should be about 58 footers. So that'd be 400 feet. So they have to be 4.5 inch at the butt max and 2.5 inch at the top minimum. So I just cut down the tree and I'll cut 8-footers out of it down to the 2.5. And we got the four-wheeler out here today with the trailer, and we'll load them on and bring them out. So we need to cut 50. So this property was clear cut right before we bought it back in 98. So mid 90s, late 90s, they clear cut it. All the skid trails come at birch poles. So it worked out pretty good. We have sold a lot of birch. I've been selling birch poles for probably about 8 years now. So, and just every skid trail they had throughout this whole place is all clear cut. This was all mowed. Grown back pretty good. It's been, what, 27, 28 years. So, but every freaking trail is birch trees. So. They hit the ground. Yeah, so my buyer's cutting these into cookies, little thin slices, and he sells a lot of them. Yeah, so the only thing is you got to clip these all by hand. You can't use chainsaw and run right up the side of them, limit them up. These are all used for decoration, and like I said, that guy sells them as cookies. Yeah, so we're about halfway done already. I got 20 done right now, so quite a few up through here. Yeah, so we'll bring out half of them now and come back later this afternoon and get the other half. Well, we got half the order done. There's 25 right there. Just walked on the next trail over. Shitload of birch over there. So we're gonna go over there and hammer out another 25 and have them in a pile. And this afternoon we'll come out and get them. Yeah, look at all these birch poles. Like I say, every skid trail is grown back with birch. And yeah, I'm done with that order. Just gonna come back out this afternoon and pick up all these poles. Leave them out a little bit so it's easier to grab. I've seen a lot. That's one of the original trails when I was a little kid. That was the trail I learned how to back up. Yeah, we got that load done. So that's it. We got 50 on there. So that ain't bad at all. Yeah, we're down to the pumpkin stand today and got quite a bit of money yesterday. So that's pretty cool. I already restocked up the pumpkins. Got a nice new batch of pumpkins in there. So let's see how much money I made. $93 today. So that's pretty good. Seems like I average right around 100 a day here, so we'll see how much I end up with at the end of the season, and headed for Alaska with all this money. We're headed down into the tree stand. It's opening day of deer season, so with the bow, we're gonna go try to sit in the tree stand for at least an hour this morning. First year being safe. I got a freaking safety harness on. Usually don't do that, but I really don't want to fall out of a tree stand and freaking break my arm and then not be able to do everything I do. Yeah, no deer today. I sat here for a little over an hour. And one thing I forgot to do was paste this spot out. I put out this piece of wood, and that way I know right where my 10-yard shot is. Yeah, so today we got the frame just about ready to push back underneath the cab. A few more minor things, and it'll all be going together. So a couple more days, this should be all done. Well, thanks for watching, and make sure to stay tuned in next week for more adventures with the Beaver Retriever.